Hello everyone. So today I'm going to show you in this project how to use this bundle. It's a bundle I create in some laboratories I did to understand how can I share session between two applications using the normal cookie authentication of Symfony. And of course, this is out of standard solution. And for this reason, I put everything here in the README. You can check this in the GitHub as well. But basically, this is not a recommendation to use in production. It's just a laboratory I did to share the session between these two apps using HTTP requests. And of course, these two apps should be written in using Symfony, and they should share the session information by the Redis connection. So basically how it works. Here we have the explanation about the architecture, and basically you have the host IPD, the identity provider, and you have the remote apps. Everything related with authentication will happens on this host. So if any other session, any other application need the session, someone, the user, will try to access the resources there. The application will identify they don't have session, will redirect them to the host. If they already have a session in the host, they just come back with the session ID to retrieve the session in the other side. If they don't have the session ID, the host will ask them to do the authentication. A session ID will be created, encrypted, and send them back with this remote request and token to the host. There, the host should get this, decrypt, identify the session number, recreate the session, recreate the cookie, and retrieve the desired data from the Redis. It's a lot happening behind the scenes, and for this reason I craft this bundle, and I'm going to show to you how to use it now. Basically, it's really simple. The thing here inside the project, as I told you, we have the host IDP and we have the remote app. These two applications you can find on the GitHub. And basically in the host, for this example, it's really simple. The only thing that we have, it's a page with a form to do login. And this login will be intercepted by the security app, uh, the security handler of Symfony. So basically it is just verifying if it's coming from login and it's a post request. It just do that here, and it execute the authentication. It get email and password. Here I'm hard coding that because it's just an example. And if everything happened with success, I redirect you to the home. If not, I request you to do login again and redirect you to the login page again. This is just the initial version of the example, and the remote one, the only thing that I have, it's a template that show you if you have the session or not. So to give you an example about this, let me show here in the app. This is the host. As you can see, we don't have any session here, and so it's not found. It's the same stuff with the remote, not found to both, okay? If you come here to login, we have the login form. I didn't press the button yet. And if you check here in the session of Redis, we don't have any data of session. So if I do login here, okay, we have a session and a role to that user I did login, and we have a session information here on Redis. So basically this is the session that belong to these both systems. The second system, the remote one, it already has access to the same Redis. So if we come here in the configuration, services, we are going to see we are using Redis, and we are putting the connection to use this Redis connection as well. But the second system, it's not possible to retrieve this customer data yet. So to solve this issue, let me destroy this session first to show this to you. So I'm going to destroy here. There is no session here anymore. I just delete the cookie. If we come here, we still have it. I'm going to delete it here as well. So no session anymore at all. And let's fastly now implement this library. Here in the README, I put everything that you need. And the first thing we should do is set up the host. So in the host, I'm going to close all of this. Okay. Here in the host, you just need to install the library. So you just ask for installation, wait for some moment. We are going to do that to you. And if everything went okay, in the bundles, we are going to have a new line with the session installed. So we need this line here. So if it doesn't happen like now, oh, sorry, I'm looking to the bundles inside the remote. So config bundles, and here in the bundles of the IDP host, we have the bundle registered. Once we do that, we need to create now a middleware, basically a subscriber in the Symfony. So as you can see, there is nothing here, so we need to use the command. So we can just copy and paste here. Okay, first we need to generate the async key. We are going to need this value, so just save it, okay? And then we need to put these credentials in our env file. So I'm going to copy this here. Let's go to our env. So I'm going to put this here. And the key we generated, we are going to use it now. So this is the secret key. It's in cryptography with async keys, or with sync keys. So that means both hosts will share the same, but this is just internal, and for this reason it's secret, okay? The next step is we just need to create now the middleware. To that, we can use the recommendation of here. We just execute this now, and Symfony should render this to us. And here he is asking to us which subscriber we need to use. And here, if you see, we are using this before the response. So here I just put the response. Now let me copy here and paste. This is just normal questions, and here we have our auth, and everything will be intercepted now. So once we have now this interceptor, the thing that we should do now, we need to inject this by the constructor, because we're going to use it. And once you do that, just make sure you are going to import. Once imported, you just call this line, okay? And here is. So now when we got a request from the remote server requesting something to give in a session, they are going to verify if this request is coming from an allowed remote server, like here, and will generate the session encrypting using this key, and then send it back to this guy that requests this. If someone that is requesting it's not in this allow list that you can use comma to put one or more entries, the system will just ignore that request and not give anything back, okay? So by security will be encrypted, we're using this key, and a second security layer is we just do that with servers that we know. Once you do this now, we should do the same configuration on the remote server. So again, it's the same stuff. Just copy the installation. Let's do this now. And now we should do this on the remote app. Let me close all of this here. So just install. Once installed in the remote, let's open the remote, config, bundles. It should be there now. It is, okay. And for this guy, we are going to need a subscriber as well. We are going to call it, this is the host. This will be the session manager on the host side. So every host will need to install the same stuff we are doing now. So just copy and paste. And this one will work in a different stage, will be work in the controller. So kernel controller, we can just copy this, will be in this stage. And it's created, and will be the same stuff. We need to inject this using the controller. So just go there and event subscriber, session manager, put the controller there, import. It's pretty simple now with this bundle. You don't need to carry with anything. Put the watch, put the watch here. And with this watch, he will do the opposite. So in the first try that you try to access some resource, we are going to identify, this guy will identify that you don't have the session. We'll send you to the host. The host will identify that you're coming from a allowed request. We'll ask you to do login. Once you do login, we are going to send you back with your session. And this guy will get the session, create the session to you, and you can use your resources. So basically, now we are done with the configuration. Just a moment. We need to put some keys here as well. So the same way we put some keys in the host side, we need those keys in the remote side too. So for that stuff, we need to go to our env, and here I'm going to put in the bottom of the file. These are the configuration to the host side. So as I told you, we are going to need the same key we generated to the host. So let's get there and get it. So this is the key, otherwise we cannot do that. So now I'm here in the remote, as you can see. So just remove the example and put the real one. And here we are going to put our current remote.test, our current address. And here we are going to give the address of the place we are doing our authentication. In this case, remember, this is the IDP host, but we should put the resource that will do the login for you. So this is valid for this example. Maybe in your app could be different. So make sure just to verify this properly. And once you do this, now for sure we are setting up. So let's test this now. So the first thing here is, if you just do login in the normal app, will happen as you wish. But the important part now is this, in the remote test. The first, I try to access the resource and I can see this page because I have no protection, use this bundle. But now when I press enter here, they are going to identify this resource is protected and we don't have session, and it will redirect us to the IDP. So let's just put this here and enter. Okay, so now he just identified that we didn't have session, and here he just put this callback address to us. It's encoded with base 64 just to use this address in the URL. You can decode this if you wish to see the content, but basically it just have normal information about who requests that to you. Once you do login here, it will do login and decrypt this because it's encrypted inside this and send you back to there. So if I do login, hit do login and send me back to my origin, and now I can access my resource. And every time you request again, you can just see that now they don't request you anything more about session. And if you realize, we have the session ID here, starting with A9, D985, and if we come here and just refresh, we already have session here because we did login. And here we have the same session, A9D985. There is one security layer that we have a section checksum between the communication. If you wish to see more how it works, you can just explore the library. You can just go here, for example, and control click, and then you're going to see how this guy is doing these verifications and everything. So I'm recording this video to show to you that it's possible to do something like this. Of course, this just works for browser solution. If you have some background jobs, you need to find another way of sending this token. But for applications proposal, it's perfectly working. It has some security layer. It's not the best one. It's not the JWT solution, but it's a solution if you have just internal apps and you need to share the session. I hope you like it. If you have something, put in the comments or send some PRs to my repository. It's here. If you just click it, you're going to see, oh, I'm out of internet now. But if you click there and with using internet, we are going to see my repository. See you next time. Bye bye.